Now, Washington Mornings on the Mall.
105.9 FM.
And AM 630.
WMAL.
Good morning, 7:06 on WMAL, where Washington comes to talk. Brian Wilson over here. There's Brian Neiman over there. How are you doing this morning?
Pretty good.
We have on the phone line former Virginia Congressman Tom Davis, who's a good friend of this program. Congressman Davis, how are you?
Brian, I'm doing great.
We got to get right to this Todd Akin things. Congressman from the state of Missouri, running against Claire McCaskill for that Senate seat there, was doing pretty well in the polls until he said some pretty stupid things in a TV interview about the issue of abortion and rape. And he finds himself with not many supporters these days. Mitt Romney has suggested that he needs to get out. Reince Priebus has said he needs to get out, and by the way, is not welcome at the convention. Millions and millions of dollars has been pulled out of the state now in that race. And John Cornyn, the man who sort of manages Senate campaigns right now for the Republicans, he said that he needs to get out. The only guy who doesn't seem to be willing to get out or think he should get out is Akin. What should happen here?
Well, I mean, Akin's been spending a year running for this seat and was an underdog until the primary just a couple of weeks ago, and he's squeezed through this. He's a 10-year House veteran, and you just show with one utterance you can take yourself out of contention. Look, there are two deadlines. One is today. They're pushing him to try to get out today. He says he's not getting out. The other is next month he can still get out. It'll cost him a little money at that point, but there is a procedure to get him out next month. He may want to decide, is everybody serious about pulling this money? How bad is this going to be in the polls? Remember, Missouri is a strong pro-life state, and these races have become more parliamentary than they have about who's running. This is about control of the Senate. It's not just about the candidate. It used to be we'd voted for the name on the back of the jersey. Now we're voting for the color of the jersey. I mean, that's the way American politics progress. So Akin may think he has a chance of surviving. This was one of the Republicans' best chance for a Senate pickup, and as you can see from the way everybody's come down on him, they don't want to jeopardize this by having now a flawed candidate running.
Well, do you think he should get out?
Well, sure. I think he ought to get out for the good of the party because they can put a stronger candidate in. But you ought to note he was never the favored candidate in Washington to begin with. They had other candidates that were running stronger in the polls against Claire McCaskill. All of them were beating her, but Akin was the weakest, and McCaskill spent money on the Republican primary, basically boosting this guy, Akin, so that he could be the Republican nominee.
Well, let me ask you this. Can Republicans win control of the Senate without winning Missouri?
Well, it just makes the hill a lot steeper. Sure, they can. I'd also add they could still win the seat in Missouri. Nobody knows how this fleshes out a month from now. Mm-hmm. McCaskill was the 60th vote for health care, for what they call it, Obamacare. She has her own vulnerabilities at this point, and people, 2 months from now, are willing to forgive stupid statements. People have recovered from a lot worse than this. But because this could infect the whole presidential race and bring these social issues and abortion into it, and it's very clear the Romney camp wants to make this about the economy. They put their distance right away, and so did everybody else. Republicans want this race to be about the economy. The fact that unemployment has stayed at 8% throughout Obama's term, it's gone up. That's what they want to run on. And these other issues, hurt that effort. So you could see everybody stepped out right away and threw Akin under the bus.
All right. In the state of Virginia, the Commonwealth of Virginia right now, how do you see the lay of the land? I mean, everybody looks at Virginia and say, man, it is tight. How do you see it shaping up?
Well, it is tight. Look, Obama carried Virginia last time by 234,000 votes. 233,000 votes were right here in Northern Virginia. The key for Democrats is to roll up the margins here because it's clear to me that Romney's going to perform much better downstate than McCain did 4 years ago. And the turnout model the Democrats had last time had an elevated African-American vote, an elevated vote in Northern Virginia, and an elevated vote on college campuses. I think the campus vote is not going to be out as well. All these kids that voted for Obama last time, they no longer live in those areas. They've had to re-register. Many of them are living in their parents' basements looking for jobs. You just don't have that rah-rah element this time for Obama. He's had to govern for 4 years, and he's had bad outcomes. Having said that, I think he still has a very loyal following among African Americans. The turnout model is going to be skewed in his favor, and it's going to be a close race. You also have to see what about the federal employees up here? How do they feel about these differing budgets? Contractors are taking a look at what's going to happen here if they start sequestering. There's a lot of dynamic here that still has to play out, and I see it as close, and I see the Senate race coming down, close, just like the presidential races. I said these races have become much more parliamentary and less about the person and more about who they want to control the direction of government. There's a third wrinkle here, and that is if Virgil Goode qualifies for the ballot.
Yep.
Those votes come right out of Romney's hide. I don't care what he says.
We've been talking about that. Nobody else seems to be paying attention to that, but we've been talking about it here. Okay, I got to ask you about MWAA. You sit on the board of the Metropolitan Washington Airport Authority. That is an agency that has really come under a lot of scrutiny and apparently needed to be. There's going to be a pretty interesting meeting coming up where you're going to talk about a lot of things, including ethics. What needs to happen at MWAA to set that train back on the right track? We just have to change course. Look, the previous boards were playing very fast and loose with a lot of contracting and the like. There's been an IG investigation. A number of us have been, we got a lot of new members, been saying, why are we doing this? So I think we're going to change, those issues are going to change. But MWA's been into trouble because of the station selection site, which I opposed, and eventually they had to reverse themselves on. And this project labor agreement down the corridor, and they've had to withdraw on both of those. And now it's gotten more complicated with the governor removing one of the members who took some foreign trips and didn't account for them appropriately. And, that's got to play out, too. So it's put MWAA right in the bullseye. And, it's a very divided board. You have some Virginia members and you have district members who think differently. You have at-large members. The chairman of the MWAA board committed suicide. This has been tough duty for me. I didn't ask for it.
Well, let me ask you about this. The Examiner has a piece this morning talking about summer jobs, the internship jobs. 100 to 200 students a year get jobs ranging from like $9 an hour to $17 an hour.
Right.
And among those getting summer jobs were relatives of board members, including your daughter. Is there any favoritism there, nepotism there? I mean, how does that work?
She applied for a job like everybody. We don't get paid as MWAA members. It's taken a lot of time. She made her aware of the job openings, and she went down and applied for it. I don't think anybody's going to say she wasn't qualified.
Well, who makes the?
She was certified EMT. She's a graduate of Swarthmore College.
Right.
She's in medical school, so I don't think anybody's doubting the qualifications. And I think the people who looked that over said put it in. So no, with 100 jobs, I don't think there's any problem there.
Well, who ultimately makes the decision on who gets hired, though?
I don't have no idea who makes the decision, but they've got a group that looks at these jobs. I mean, as I said, it's 100 jobs.
Yeah, but you didn't lobby on behalf of your daughter.
No, I mean, she's clearly qualified, Brian. I mean,
that seems like a high number of jobs. I mean, is that normal for an organization of that size? 100.
Well, this
internships.
Look, I was brand new on the board at the time when this happened, and they said, we have this summer jobs program if anybody wants to apply. So a lot of people applied, and we've tried to make this. It's basically geared toward the district and other areas where people have been able to come in and be ambassadors and the like.
Right.
So it's been going on for some time.
All right, Congressman Davis, good to have you on the program as always. I appreciate it.
Good to talk.